Disney Lucasfilm has given us some of the worst Star Wars under Kathleen Kennedy, and the latest came from Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, Leslie Headland, by way of The Acolyte, a show that turned in the worst audience scores on Rotten Tomato, around 14% of any Star Wars anything ever. In addition to that, it also turned in some of the worst audience viewership, according to places like Nielsen and even Luminate data in tandem with Variety magazine. But there were other projects that were supposed to precede The Acolyte, namely Skeleton Crew, starring Jude Law. That show seemed to disappear and get pushed back. Now we've got some news on when we might see that and what some of the reaction, even from inside Disney itself, has been. Hint, it's not great. And how does this bode for the future of the cinematic entries of Star Wars, namely The Mandalorian and Grogu movie that's due out in just under 2 years from now, which, as it turns out, hasn't even started principal photography yet. Let's get into it.
Renegade Online.
We have to give one last fine farewell to The Acolyte. Because it's now Nielsen. Yeah. Nielsen is now 3 weeks into measuring The Acolyte. Now, like we said earlier, Nielsen is always, unfortunately, about 4 weeks behind. This is why newer services like Luminate that got into partnership with Variety magazine, you've seen us cite them before. They're far more rapid fire with their data releases. Nielsen probably has the same data as fast as Luminate does. They have chosen to continue to be 4 weeks behind with public releases. Why, I don't know.
I bet there's internal pressure to change now that Luminate is beating them, and it's matching. It's not like Samba where they were, there's a delta between them.
Yeah, why would anybody go bother? And I mean, 6 more months of this, nobody's going to bother to wait for Nielsen anymore.
Right.
And they need, but what's still good about it is that it adds yet another third-party independent confirmation of the stuff we've been talking about. So this is for the week of July 1 through July 7th. Okay.
This is why Nielsen is going to have to change, because what this has done is it's turned Nielsen into a verification system now. We're only going to Nielsen to go, yep, checks out with Luminate. Perfect. But we're all looking at the Luminate numbers as they come out.
Yeah. And this is, I said 3. This was, I think, week 6 of The Acolyte. Pardon me. I was thinking I had June in my head. Yeah, exactly. So this is, again, to this point, we are now 6 episodes into The Acolyte when this measurement was taking place. 6 episodes in. It still hasn't shown up on a Nielsen chart at all, I don't think. Was it on there maybe the first week, second week?
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Which was the first. So episode 1 plus 2 got it on. Yeah. And then episode 3. But remember, episode 3 was the one where everybody knew they were going to devastate the Force, everything. Like, people checked that out to see how bad can this possibly be.
It was
and
a
then
train
it disappeared.
Wreck. Yeah.
It
train
disappeared.
Wreck watching. Yeah.
No, you had it right. It was a train witch. You had it right.
Train witch.
Yeah.
It's a train witch. No, it was a train wreck watch is what I was trying to say.
Marriage is up. No, go ahead. Sorry. Go.
But no, you're right. Episode 4, episode 5, episode 6, gone. The audience checked it out. There was some curiosity. Basically, what we can take from this is there was some degree of curiosity from the normies. They watched it. They said, this show is shite. And they left. That's it. That's what happened. All of these episodes run very similarly. And for those of you looking at this, that was overall. Here's original. Number 10 on the original list, 332 million minutes watched. With 3 episodes, The Man with 1,000 Kids, whatever the hell that is on Netflix. By this point, 6 episodes of The Acolyte were out. Nearly 2 hours worth, 2 to 2.5 hours worth of The Acolyte was available for viewing. Nothing. Didn't even breach that.
The Man with 1,000 Kids, 3 episodes in, is outperforming The Acolyte 3 episodes in. So let that sink in.
Well, six episodes in.
Well, sure, but if you went back to when the Acolyte had 3 episodes, this is better. Yeah. So what does this say? Well, it says
I don't know how long I don't know how long each episode of The Man with 1,000 Kids is. I know nothing about the show.
Fair enough. But that only gives you some wiggle in the numbers there. The basic point here is, I bet The Man with 1,000 Kids doesn't have a $200 million budget.
Oh, look, Bluey.
Who'd have thought? Oh, that's the only Disney Plus. Neato.
That's it.
We make this stuff up.
That's it. Bluey's on there every week. Disney doesn't even own it. I mean, God.
They don't own theme park rights either. Have you seen this? Some park in Pennsylvania has Bluey appearing because of some contract that existed before Disney Plus. They had to yank Bluey out of the Disney World parks.
Well, I thought Disney passed on it.
So Disney ran like a little Bluey adventure, I don't know, some little dinky game that kids could play because they were trying to rush it out in the parks, because they don't have time to build attraction. They had to yank it day one because they got threatened with a lawsuit from this little theme park in Pennsylvania that holds the rights to Bluey.
Yep.
And they ain't giving that up. You know how much money I'd be charging Disney to say, oh yeah, you can have Bluey in your parks? I mean, listen, you're talking about billions of dollars that little theme park now has control over.
Yeah. And I want to call everybody's attention here. House of the Dragon, right? And we keep comparing. Why? Because House of the Dragon and Acolyte somehow have almost the same budget. Figure that one out. I can't. House of the Dragon looks spectacular. Now, this is under acquired, not original, right? So this is 4 episodes in to the new season of House of the Dragon. Season 1 had 10 episodes. Season 2 only has 8. Tonight's the finale. This is under acquired, as I remind people, because House of the Dragon is not Max property. It's property of HBO, a linear broadcast television channel, not a streaming channel. So this watch for House of the Dragon, for that 1-hour episode that week, at almost 1.3 billion minutes, the Acolyte's episode that week was about 30 minutes, half of that. The Acolyte, if it was as popular, in theory, would have racked up over 600 million minutes watched. It didn't even have 300, according to the chart. And this is the point. And, again, there's probably at least another, if we go by minutes, there's probably at least another, I'd say at least another 300 million to 400 million minutes not accounted for on House of the Dragon because they were consumed through a cable service as opposed to streaming on Max. This is only measuring Max, not HBO. So we still know that about 30% or so, at least I think from last year, 30% or so of the consumption is still through effectively a cable box, a cable subscription.
You want to have some real fun? Take a look down there at number 8. Bob's Burgers. Yeah. 837 million minutes.
People just binge.
You know how much an entire season of Bob's Burgers costs? And that's
10 million? 20 million?
Actually, even less.
Okay.
It's like $7 million for a season of Bob's Burgers for 20 plus episodes. And you're spending $200 million on the former personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein to make you a turd.
Yeah, and not even be able to show up on a streaming chart where, I mean, this is why Disney was touting The Bear on Hulu during the last earnings call and hyping it up because, okay, that's working. But again, what is the budget for The Bear? Maybe not even 50 million, I bet.
I don't know. I don't even know anybody who watches The Bear. I have never been in a situation where someone said, "Hey, did you see the episode of The Bear?" And if I had heard somebody say that, I think everybody around would have been like, what are you talking about? What kind of stupid bear? So I don't even, it's an anomaly to me. Who is watching The Bear? Folks out there, are you watching The Bear and just not telling us? Is it Mike? Mike, are you watching The Bear?
Mike
Jonas? Who's watching The Bear?
Mike's watching The Bear. But
I'm just here for the exploding dogs, I'll tell you.
You look at the Star Wars stuff on the Nielsen charts, or the lack thereof on the Nielsen charts, and you look at this Marvel course correction, and I cannot repeat this enough. There is so much difference between what's going on right now at Marvel versus Lucasfilm. People thinking, when's the course correction at Lucasfilm? Don't hold your breath. It's only going to get worse. And I'll tell you why. $7 million per episode for Bridgerton. There you go. Hey, Mac. What's up? Good to see you, man. Now
Great
it's
resource.
known out there on X. Go follow Mac. Now it's known on X. He always tags us and stuff to pull the charts up that he usually sits there and he finds all these things before I have time to get around
Mac
to
is
it.
one heck of a resource, folks. Mac knows stuff.
But the thing is that Marvel is doing a course correction because it's a necessity. They had greatness, and they had greatness for nearly 10 years, and then they broke it, and they know they need to go back to it. Star Wars, on the other hand, had a brief flash in 2015, and then it fell apart and never was. It never reached what Marvel was under Disney. And I think there's an attitude here that, I hate to say this, as much crap as we've given Kevin Feige, he's still a dude, and he's still a nerd dude, and probably is more concerned about his legacy, because Feige, even though he wasn't the greatest thing for Marvel, he was there from the beginning, and he did help to build it. Perlmutter and Jon Favreau were major components of it, but Feige has been there. He's done the work since the early days. As we keep reminding folks, Kathleen Kennedy, her successes have been basically her hopping onto the hayride with a tractor being driven by George Lucas and Steven Spielberg and Richard Donner and Robert Zemeckis and so on and so forth. You take them away, her accomplishments are basically crap, nothing. But Kennedy has been running this. She never cared about Star Wars. She still doesn't care about it, at least not insofar as taking it and turning it into a intersectional feminist female empowerment program. And I don't think that the people at Disney, like Bob Iger, frankly, have the balls to fix that situation. And Kennedy probably thinks everything she's doing is fine. Feige, on the other hand, I hate to say this, men and women think differently, and especially left-wing ones. I don't
Former personal assistants to Weinstein's. Do they think?
Yeah.
Do they think different? Okay.
I don't think that because Kennedy has arrived where she is with a completely undeserved sense of accomplishment. She never accomplished anything big on her own. Again, she was always
a darn good latte, sir. She makes a darn good latte.
She was always riding the coattails of other people. And I hate to say it, they were all men, including her own husband, Frank Marshall.
Well, Marsha did a heck of a job with George. She may have saved Star Wars.
We're not talking about Marsha Lucas. I mean, we're talking about Kennedy.
Kathy wishes she was Marsha.
Yes. Marsha Lucas would have been, I think, a far better person. If we really wanted to have a woman running Star Wars and Lucasfilm after the sale, I think Marsha Lucas would have had a much better shot at doing a much better job.
She at least would not have said that lightsabers are phallic symbols of the patriarchy, like Leslie.
Yeah. But the house cleaning that you just saw Kevin Feige and Disney do at Marvel, don't hold your breath to see that at Lucasfilm, because you'd literally fire everybody. There would be no employees left at Lucasfilm if they did that there. None.
I don't know. The Purge at Lucasfilm would be the best performing Disney Plus show ever.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.